to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our NBA DFS value picks for Friday, February 2nd, 2018. Nice slate of games tonight. Do want to recap last night. Wish I remember exactly what happened. I do know that I believe pretty much all of the value sucked for us, but let's go over it. So I believe our top guy was Malcolm Brogdon, and he got hurt. So, that tells you all you need to know. He was very highly owned. It was kind of like an obvious play because we didn't have Eric Bledsoe, and it looked like that was just going to be an easy spot for him to hit 25 to 30 fantasy points. It just didn't materialize. He got hurt. He's done. He's not going to play tonight. So that's fun. Stanley Johnson did absolutely nothing for the first two quarters. He just really didn't do anything. He got going in the second half, but it was just too little too late. Finished with 24.75 fantasy points, so just missed 5x value. So, he wasn't a killer, but at the same time, it wasn't something that we can hang our hat on and say, woohoo, we did it. And then Wayne Selden Jr., this Memphis team, until they realize that no one's taking Tyreek Evans off their hands, or they get rid of him, because it's possible, but I just don't see it happening. It's going to be unpredictable. There's a 90% chance that Andrew Harrison's going to be 55% owned the next time they play, and he's going to put up 12 fantasy points because that's just what's going to happen. So I was happy in my cash games that I reconciled in my head that Marc Gasol was not a bad play given the price. His price had fallen to $7,600, so I really jumped on that opportunity. It worked out well, but the fact that I had Wayne Selden Jr. with him and he did nothing, he just looked horrible. Sometimes I wish that guys would just learn, just don't take the shot. If you're shooting 2 and 8, pass it. You ain't worth it tonight. Just wait till practice the next day, get your shot back, try it again the next game, but he just really didn't come through, but he was very, 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 very highly owned, so it was kind of a moot point. But going to be honest with you, a little bit frustrating the past couple of days in value land. Admittedly, I don't really have a ton of value that I'm just wild over right now. But we'll do our best to find some pieces to go after today. For sure, one thing I will not be doing is going to Frank Kaminsky. He's questionable, but Cody Zeller likely to be back. So I'm going to stay away from there. I guess the guy that appeals to me most, for sure, there's a couple of guys. I'm going to go back to the well here. I'm going to do a couple of different things. Okay, so I do see some guys I like. I'm not really too concerned about what the overall against position says. It's the most irrelevant factor that you could possibly consider, but I'm going to look at some guys. All three of them are actually power forward, center eligible on DraftKings. I think there is definitely some value in the guard position. I think, Milwaukee's going to be interesting. I mentioned in the other video, Giannis said he twisted his ankle pretty badly last night. I don't know if that keeps him out tonight. If it does, that team is going to be an absolute mess. It's pretty much just going to be play Chris Middleton and guess. You could play Tony Snell, Dellavedova, Shannon Brown, Sean Kilpatrick at that point could start seeing some minutes. He was someone I thought I was going to like once Brogdon got injured, but he just didn't really see enough run for me. So I want to start things off with a guy who I think is probably my favorite play tonight, and that's Jarrett Allen. He's a Brooklyn Nets power forward center. Finally, Kenny Atkinson has realized that they should at least put him on the court sometimes, and he's seeing minutes, 20 plus. He saw 26 minutes against Philly, put together a 16-12 double-double with 2 blocks. You just have to remember here, Kenny Atkinson is an absolute asshole when it comes to understanding how to grow a team. People might disagree with me, and the Nets have been probably playing better than they should be. I do not put any of that on Atkinson's shoulders. I put that all on just variance of volatility and luck, because the guy refuses to play people over 30 minutes, doesn't understand player development, seems to just think it's always going to be next year. Jarrett Allen will get him involved eventually, and these guys just never develop. They stutter. It's just not pretty with Kenny Atkinson in Brooklyn. Maybe he was better. I think he was with the Hawks before. Whatever, I don't care. Don't like the guy. He's fantasy poison because you can't be guaranteed that he could get a hair up his ass and decide that he's going to play Jarrett Allen for 5 minutes tonight. So it's dangerous. It's a situation that isn't great. I still think you could play him in cash games because he's going to be popular. He's going up against the Lakers. Everything kind of fits well for him. So he's the guy I really want to target the most tonight. From there, I'm going to actually go to Marquise Chris, 4,800. Phoenix Suns taking on the Utah Jazz. Utah is a team that a lot of people run away from because the pace is an issue and all of that, but Phoenix plays at a high enough pace that it's going to diminish their overall team pace, but it's not going to drop to an unreasonable level where it doesn't make sense. We're talking about a situation where Chris needs under 25 fantasy points to hit value, and Greg Monroe's gone. Alex Len is pretty much consistently hurt. There's a situation where he's going to finally start to see minutes. I would rather they'd play him over Bender, and he's been productive when he's been given the opportunity. So I think, I'm not really afraid about him against Rudy Gobert. I'm not really afraid of him against Derek Favors. I think that those are both matchups that he can win often enough. Maybe it's not most of the time, but often enough that he can justify his salary as long as he's getting the minutes. And most importantly, staying out of foul trouble. That has always been something that Chris has had difficulty with, but really he's been better as of late. He hasn't, the last 10 games he's only gone over 5 fouls one time, has not fouled out. Still a lot of volatility here again because who knows what's going to happen in the world of the Suns. They might decide that they want to go small for no reason whatsoever, might leave Chris out and decide to run Booker, Warren, Ulis, Daniels, and Josh Jackson out there. Who knows? You can never predict them, but it's a situation I do like. I don't mind going there tonight. Next up, I'm going back to the well with Ed Davis. I know it's super frustrating what happened last time because this team was blown out, and or this team was a part of the blowout. They blew out the Bulls. This time we see them go on the road to Toronto. This is a much tougher game. But it is a game that I think Davis could have some success in. His price is a little higher. I mean, getting to that 5K point, you are kind of taking a lot of the upside out of the equation. But it's a situation I like. I think he could still be, in that 25 to 35 point range, depending on the minutes and how close the game stays. We just saw Toronto last night have a hell of a game against the Washington Wizards, not the Bullets. I don't know what year it is, apparently. But I think that this could be a nice bounce-back game of sorts for Davis. And it isn't like he played poorly. It was just the timing of things when you don't play the fourth quarter and you're part of the rotation that comes in with 2 minutes left in the third, it is going to affect your ability to produce. All right, that'll wrap it up. Once again, we've got Jarrett Allen, we've got Marquise Chris, we've got Ed Davis. Those are our value plays tonight. Hey, if you liked the video, do us a favor. Please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe. We certainly appreciate it. It goes a long way to keep us being able to monetize these things. We're not asking for any money for premium on the site. We're doing a lot more in terms of collecting and curating content to put more on our site that people can look at other than just my content, because I'm one person. I will never claim to be the best DFS player there is. I do believe I'm a good, perhaps better than average DFS player, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm the best that there is. So I want to put content out there from other people who have good, solid insights, send you to their sites, let you look at what they've got going through their mind. So visit that, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks.